Feed me. Feed me more. Feed me more.
The Ryback Show starts now. Welcome to the Ryback Show. I am your host, the big guy Ryback. Happy Tuesday, ladies and gentlemen. Streaming live, Instagram and TikTok, the big guy Ryback22. Here on YouTube, Ryback TV, where you're the co-host of the show. The ebb and flow of the show goes where your questions goes, health, fitness, supplementation, pro wrestling, sports, and anything and everything in between. Streaming on Twitch at Ryback Rules and Twitter at Ryback. Thank you for those people over there. But come over here to Ryback TV. Guys, super chats are greatly appreciated here on that. And this show, available on all podcast platforms. iTunes reviews are greatly appreciated on that. And this podcast, this show, is brought to you by my Feed Me More Nutrition, my premium supplement line, sweetened with stevia and monk fruit, no harmful artificial sweeteners or colors, vegan friendly for all people, men and women, he, she, and thee, on feedmemore.com. New customers can save 30% on your first order, a one-time code, discount code Ryback30, Ryback30. Returning customers can save 20% discount code FEEDME20, FEEDME20 on that. And you get a free bottle of our Too Sweet blood sugar support, little cheat meal formula, if you will. Good for when you have the high carb cheat meals 1 or 2 times a day, not for every day on that. But if you have a higher carb diet, taking it a couple times a day is very beneficial when you're eating cleaner on that too. But it's great for cheat meals as well, and helps process carbohydrates and fats more efficiently. Check that out. Absolutely free for ordering the best supplements on the planet. We've got all the Ryback merch, all the stuff over there. The only gains going strong on there. Feedmemore.com. Good to see all of you guys. Ryback, do you think young Thug will get out? I have no brother. I've never even heard. That's the first time I've ever even heard. I'm sure I've heard the word, the phrase Young Thug. I don't know who the Young Thug is. I'm sorry. I literally will have to look that up after. There's like, I have no idea. Got a super chat coming in. Hello. What are your thoughts on Zach Gowen? I met him at a super lucha show in Detroit, and he signed my belt, and it was an honor for me to meet him. I'm very happy you had a good experience meeting him. And I believe I have met him somewhere, and I don't know if it was backstage at WWE at some point, if he was like I don't recall if it was an independent show. But I don't know Zach. I've never heard anything. I've really never anything. I watched him on TV when I was younger, before, that was right before I got into wrestling there with that, and was always very entertained by him. And I think absolutely amazing that he was able to go out there and do what he did under the circumstances he was dealt. And man, talk about turning what can be a negative into a huge positive. And so I think just that alone, you have to have a pretty damn strong mindset that's beyond impressive. I mean, it's never been done since at that level, going in there too, getting beat up by Brock, by young Brock. And yeah, man, but I'm happy you got to get to meet him, and it was a good experience, and that's what it's all about. I do watch the NBA. I've been watching the playoffs. We've got the Lakers and the Nuggets coming up here. Is game 1 tonight on the Nuggets Lakers, or is that Thursday or Wednesday? I know the Golden Knights as well. They're going to be going up against Dallas. I don't know if game 1 is on Wednesday or Thursday as well. It's Wednesday, Thursday, I'd imagine, on all these games, on the hockey, at least for them. The basketball could start tonight, right? Let's see here. All right. Yeah. Denver Lakers tonight. All right. Yeah. I'm going to catch a portion of that game for sure. I'll have it on. I'll probably do a good amount of stretching in the living room for the shoulder. I got my wet cupping today. Right after the show, I've got to get a big training session in, eat, shower, and wet cupping, and then a lot of stretching. I'm able to hang reverse grip, by the way. My pull-ups, I could not do reverse grip, like my grip like this, normal grip. I could hang and do all my sets. Since all my shoulder stuff, my range of motion and it's all the scar tissue, my hand I could not do this. I could not fully get it. And even now there's still some stuff caught up in there. But yesterday was the first day, and I don't know if it's been over 7-8 years. I used to do reverse grip pull-ups all the time. Like I had to stop doing pull-ups I used to do all the time. My back was never been the same since I've not been able to do pull-ups. And because my back was always like I can't wait. Like I just can't wait. I'm to try to get this to where it's firing properly, because the big issue is in my scapula and that tissue around it. And but anyways, hanging yesterday, and the armpit area into the tricep is another sticking point that this tissue needs to rip free. I was able finally yesterday to get in the reverse grip, and the last week of doing this, I've just been using my body weight very lightly to like stretch, because it hurts. Because my arm just didn't want to externally rotate. But doing all these stretches and the wet cupping and getting that inflammation down, I can now reverse grip. Like I could literally do this. This was really difficult for me to do. And I can now do this and grip. And I was able to do my hangs. And the first one was really tight. And the tissue finally yesterday, and this is why you do all these other things. The end result is I need the tissue to stretch or rip, break, the inflammation to go down, and for the tissue to be pliable around. And it's just such a massive area of things that take relentless work to get to this point. Literally, this has been all these years of like to get to this point of to be able to get in this position. Now hang with enough weight and hang and hang and hang and hang, rest, hang and hang and hang and hang and rest, keep going, keep going. The tissue just started ripping yesterday. And like it got easier and easier and easier. And then that's why I'm able to now really easily rotate my hand. Whereas before it would get to like here and I'd have to really like struggle to get that last. And it's because there was all these blockages and things. And so I'm just every day I was up at 4:15 today. I just wake up and I can't wait to get going. And like, I can't wait to get to bed and just I'm so freaking close on all of this, on what I've done. And I'm just doing there were certain things I was not able to do with all this scar tissue stuff that I'm able to do now. And it's like, I can't do enough of it. And I have to not go crazy. Like on the stretching, I do a lot of it, but I don't try to overdo it, like with too painful or try to go too. I'm listening to what the lady has told me and being aggressive with it, but listening to her guidelines on kind of what she's telling me that we're going to do to get this resolved. And so just every day. But the Lakers Nuggets, I'll be doing some stretching out there tonight, and my rehab exercises. I'm able to do the rehab exercises again that I had to stop doing. That are great exercises, but they were causing too much pain and inflammation and not allowing the scar tissue to break up. So there's like, this whole thing has been a puzzle, man, that somebody's going to have it way easier than me after this. I know that. I'll have to write a book on the shoulder alone, and include some very key people in that to give because whenever, even just being a pro wrestler, doesn't matter what else you're doing, people being a pro wrestler has the most negative stigma, I think, in the entire world of anything, as far as like people labeling you pro wrestler. And like, they think in general, the world, that's like, if you listen to like The Rock with the Hollywood, like he listened to some people when he lost some weight early on, and like, but they're the one, they don't call yourself The Rock. Like wrestling's not looked at, it's looked at better than it was. But like the majority of like everyday people, because there's way more people that don't watch wrestling than the small amount that do in the grand scheme of things, even though a lot of people watch it. In the grand scheme of things, not a lot do, with that. And you could say that about anything for the most part compared to the world population with that. But it's like a lot of people look at that and look at the fan base, and you guys see on how like that stuff sticks out like a sore thumb with that to people, and it's like they distance themselves. But all right, let's get going. Secret's doing very well, thank you. She's just got done watering and clipping some more palm tree branches off and watering all the fruit trees out back. I got to get the water line extended to the fruit trees. I'm gonna go crazy just with busier I get, and like it takes a minute. These trees are getting big, a lot of water in the summer. You got to go out there 3-4 days a week, usually 4. So it's like every other day pretty much of just get up and make it. It's just a routine I have, and just stay in the flow with it just to knock things out. Because the more things I knock out, the easier the day gets as far as you're not worrying about how much you have to do, because it's just one from the next to the next, and it's all important. The shoulder stuff is so important that I set aside the times that I do. And but yeah, Secret is doing very good. My dad came to SAR yesterday, and I think she's eating now. She's eating some of her dog food. We got to get her. She's so used to eating out of our hands now. She's always been a little bit of a finicky eater at times, but she is eating dog food out of the bowl. We just got to get her to eat like a little more of her dog food and not as much. She's been eating a lot, like the chicken and steak and a little bit of bacon. The bacon was a lot the first day to get her going. And then we got away from that and more to the chicken and a little fattier chicken, leaner chicken, some steak here and there. And she's very happy. Then she's eating the more carbs. And like last night, my air pop popcorn, she ate a good amount of that. She loved. So like her appetite is coming back for the foods that she liked before. And I'll probably keep her here a few more days. Her legs are the only thing that worry me, because she's over 12 and her back legs are getting weak. Even though she can walk, she can't jump. She's tried to jump on the couch, and I had to yell at her the other day, like, no. And like she listened finally. But she tried to go once. Her back legs just wouldn't go up. Her front paws got up, but her back legs just won't come off the ground. And like she is gonna, like, I'm gonna have to really tell my dad, you've got to be, and this is what my dog Sophie and little guy are really good, because you got to know how to raise your voice, but also not you got to be loving with these kinds of dogs. And dogs, they just have to understand that you're serious, and it's a look and it's a sound, and it's just getting the vibration to a certain level, and it works every time. And then it's very good, but they have to understand that they can't do that with that, because they're going to hurt themselves. And that's the only thing that worries me if I can't watch her. And my dad, and he's 74, and if she goes to jump or just anything, and with Daisy, the other dog is a hyper 6-year-old pit bull, and she just doesn't. It scares me, because but it's my dad's dog. It's not my dog, and I got her for him, but and I want to protect her and take care of her. But it's like at the end of the day, I know he misses her. The dogs love each other. She loves it there. She's like, even though she's doing well here now, but I was like, I just want her legs to be is at least a little, maybe even a week, just to like see how much they're going to come back fully, and then she'll probably go home, and I'll go visit her every week like I always do and always did. So with that, but her legs are going to be, because she has some nerve damage from the attack. And I don't know how much that's going to come back. It's better than it was, I could tell you that. And she could walk. And so it gives me hope that it can get all the way better. Look at Sophie, even though her legs aren't 100%, she could do everything again. And at least she thinks she can. But a dog at Secret's age, you can't, I want to get, she looks great. I'd love to get a year or two. I'd love to get 2 years. I'd love to get more than that, but I'm just being realistic on, and looking at her, I go, and she had skin cancer a year ago that never came back. And she's been good. We've got her on good supplements, and, but her legs, that's the only thing. And when you're dealing in the other dog, like Sophie and little guy, Sophie would not have made it if little guy was not good with her. I had to get little guy good with her really quick. You got a Boston Terrier. They like to play. He had to know, like, no, You cannot touch her. You can and he knows he's so good. He knows how to play with her gently. He'll lose it. He'll go crazy every once in a while. Look right at him, he stops just with that. And but that's the thing that's scary with dogs, because she's just like one fall or one injury away. If something happens to her leg, she's not recovering at this age with everything, most likely. You know what I mean? With the nerve stuff, if it's something if that never, so it's like, I'm just hoping my dad can understand that as much as possible. And I told him that last night. I go, if she comes back with you and, her leg or something happens, I go, we're going to have to put her down. And none of us want to do that. And but he just realistically, because the recovery on it is with how she is now, this just dropped her health meter down drastically. Like, we were days away from having to put her down. I thought I was prepared to do it Sunday. Like, if she wasn't, like, because I couldn't stand watching her grunting in pain and suffering, like, and it was like, so it was like, I was just figure it out. Thank God we did. We got the medicine, but it's she's doing awesome now. It's like my dad's happy as can be, like, because he was mentally, thought we were putting her down. It was like, and I took her for a saving grace. Like, it was up to me. As far as, if I don't get her to go to eat, to get going, I took her to the vet, it was like, and they gave us the medicine. I was like, this is it. And that was on me. So I was like, everything has gone on. Like, I've been with her for days. What are we at, like 6 days now? Whatever it's been, 6 days, I think, of just, 5 days. 5 days, I believe, is what she's been at now. So, but yeah, thank you for asking. Thoughts on NXT when I was there? It was great. Hello. I'm drinking an unsweetened tea. It's I don't know if the flavor might be wild berry decaffeinated tea. I had half a serving. I'll wake up in the morning. I'll do half a serving with my Pumplexity and 10 count creatine. Right after I have my shake, and then I'll have that and go do my workout, and then make a quick meal, get ready. I'll get ready while the meal's cooking, and then I gotta get over there and got some work on the shoulder today, that wet cupping with everything. So hello, Mr. Chewy. Thank you for the super chat. Hey, Ryback, I've been a huge fan since you were a singles competitor. Thank you very much. How do you feel about Randy Orton might retire? Well, I don't think anything has been. We talked about it on yesterday's show in much more detail. I elaborated on how those things in the statement that Cowboy Bob Orton gave in an interview, and who knows, he could be saying that to just rib Randy to get everyone. Like, you never know. Like on any of this, he could have just said that just to put that out there, and gave Randy shit that all these rumors now that he's going to have to retire and he's coming back. Like, that's not what it should be shocking at all. Could have been being completely honest, and could have been the doctors told Randy, that we don't want you to wrestle again, but they'll clear him. Then they just gave their opinion that you shouldn't wrestle again. Doctors do that all the time, but you're cleared. You're physically able to go back. They're just saying, yeah, I wouldn't chance it, but it could be a flat out no. It could be just being completely honest, and the doctors and there's stuff going on, and but I don't know until Randy addresses it. It's all rumors and just speculation on things. The back injury is beyond serious with that, and like I said, if he has more things that he wants to fulfill as a wrestler, I'm all for it. I understand, and but I think if he's happy and content, and he's had an absolutely outstanding, amazing career, and he's I mean, what else is there really for him to do? There's always something, like I said yesterday, that you could make up something, go for anything, and with that, it's just he has his family, he has everything in order. It appears that he was mad. So it's like, whatever it is, I'm okay him just taking a year off, man, not retiring, or just taking a year off and just rest and enjoy, but doing rehab and make sure. And if in a year or 6 months, whatever it is, he feels great, then all right, let's do it. Let's go. Let's do one. Let's do one program and see how you're feeling with that. And then if after that, okay, you need to retire, whatever it is. It's just, I just hope, he'll make that decision. And but that all the stuff comes from the Cowboy Bob Orton thing I saw when a lot of times too, when you do interviews and you're doing, you at a convention or something and somebody comes over and you want to kill a little time, and yeah, sure, I'll do a 5 or 10 minute interview. You know what I mean? And people ask questions and you don't even think anything of it sometimes, and then people are just looking for anything, and but we'll have to see. Thank you. She's doing good. Secret is walking around and eating, and she's on her pain meds, and she's doing way better. She was just chewing on Sophie and little guys, one of their bones earlier. She hasn't touched those since she's been here. Just every day, just happier and better. So, but it was a bit of work. It was definitely a bit of work. Here from LA, welcome. How the Raw ends. Let me see. What's the question here? The Raw ends when you and Cena were pulling the championship belt from either end and Punk in the middle. Hope you remember that, big guy. Yep, I do. That was there's a good picture of that. That was a cool little segment. Punk and those guys. I thought it was the facials that he was making in the back where I thought were top notch on that. Added to it, everything of like his championship and me and Cena are fighting over who's gonna take it and end his reign. Right? It was, you go look back. That was a good little deal. Fun to be a part of. Do I ever get salty if your favorite team loses? Like for me, your city's team, Vegas Golden Knights, eliminated my team, the Oilers. No, I don't. I think I'm rooting for the Vegas Golden Knights on that, but like I don't get attached to it like that. Where like I'm just not invested into it like that. And I don't know. I've always just been good at sports and watching things and knowing that it's just players and people wearing businesses and logos on their on their bodies. It really doesn't. It's just like once you like I told, once you see how the world works and like what everything really is, like the meaning of it is a little bit like it's like what it is. Everyone's just players and people, and yeah, they have a hockey team here, and yeah, sure, I'll root for them, but I'm not like their success or failures have nothing to do with me and don't represent me and don't like. We didn't have sports here my whole life. So it's like, I've never, maybe if, I might have had a different attitude on it if I grew up and we had the sports teams and I saw, but like I used to watch, my dad's from LA. My dad's big Lakers, Dodgers, Rams. He's from California. But I watched all the games with him and he's pretty into sports. Like he'll scream sometimes. Then like I've never, and I grew up with that, like, and that never had caught on. Never. I just like, that's silly. Dad, that's stupid. He can't hear you. Wait, why are you screaming at the TV like that, Dad? Then I get the belt. No. But yeah, I don't. I just enjoy the games. I'll never lose any sleep. Like the football, like Tom Brady, when I want like in the Buccaneers, like I was rooting for him, and I wanted him to do well. And if this was his last season and whatnot, and but even that, and like it wasn't. I think I just instantly shift into just trying to feel good. If I recognize if I ever am like mad or anything, I think it's just like, oh, the other congratulations to the other team, and like I don't let myself get caught up in it. Good to see all of you. Welcome to the Ryback Show. Going over some of your questions here, guys. 1 second. Victor likes the body, guys. Victor says, I wish Brock can get one big final title run as a dominant force like he was in 2014-15 before he retires for good. Bro, he's been booked better than anybody in the history of the business, probably. And you still want him to, like, his whole run has been dominant. Like, I don't know if you look at the win-loss records of like everybody in wrestling for the most part, it's pretty ridiculous. It's guys all throughout the years. Even guys you think probably didn't lose a lot had some losses with that. And it's like, God, like he's being booked great. He's able to work with more people, still dominant. Nobody looks at him any different now than he ever, like not one person that I could, like, I'm sure there is you, Victor, because you need him to be the dominant force. And he was in 2014-15 because all the other years were just mediocre. But yeah, I know what you're talking about. You want Brock to just completely demolish the entire roster and go out on top, and very understandable with that. And then Victor could sit there and do the little Brock little thing at home, like that little goofball dork Mark they show on the Titantron that does the little Brock fire up. Victor does that whenever he sees Brock at home. Victor just does, yeah, here comes the pain. I'm the next big thing. Gonna go watch the Ryback Show. Hello. It's true, Victor. It's true. I already know. I can tell by the comments. You guys think I literally see this shit, guys. I can tell when you guys all they talk about is like body guys or big beefy guys, and like all their questions revolve around them wanting to be dominant forces. Like, and it's like it's only you can't hold it back. I see it. I see when it wants to come out in the earlier messages, and then finally you just kind of let it out. You can't hold it into you. Just like, God, I got it. I want Brock. Ah, here comes the pain. See, I'm telling you guys, if you guys would just listen to me more, I have very good intuition and I could tell on things. I'm spot on Victor. Victor's literally wearing a Brock Lesnar 2004 SummerSlam tank top with The Rock, doing his DVD workouts. He watches. That's the first thing you do every morning, Victor. You after you eat a Brock Lesnar farm breakfast, whatever that is, something with steak and eggs, maybe elk meat in there too. With that, you literally have that SummerSlam, that promo package they have for Rock and Brock, where they're doing all the special training. And I know you watch that right before you work out. You literally get yourself so pumped up to that. You do the little bouncing around side to side, watching it. Grab the little pink dumbbells and you go. Hello. Victor has sword tattoos all over his body. Victor has the big sword on his chest, and he also has a little sword with a teardrop right there by his eye as well. I got to pour a little water in this tea. Victor. Anytime I see Victor, anytime you're on this show, Victor, here comes the pain. Victor's in town. I still keep a lot of plant-based foods. I just got rid of the plant-based meats, and I had to make some changes. Will I ever do a podcast with all original members of the Nexus? What do you want us to be? What kind of you want me to be like the host of it? And I've got like the other 6 Nexus guys, or we need to do like a table for 3, but with a Nexus themed table. We just get the Nexus guys like a Joe Rogan style feast table, and we just eat chicken wings and steak and have some beans and a few salads. I don't know, and just shoot the shit. We'll have a group of the marked questions that everyone's asked us each individually, like 1,000 times plus a year, and we'll just answer those. We'll just talk amongst ourselves, and then we'll release the footage in pieces on social media, so all of you could then ask us more questions. Would you ever go back to the WWE for one last title run? We've talked. I get my trademark any day, and I'm moving on. I'm not. They're not involved. They're not involved in anything moving forward, guys. They are. We've talked about it to no end. They need to make the situation right, and there's so much that there's no doing business with that when there's no trust with that. And trust comes in writing and making things right. And I'm telling you, I don't think you guys understand. They have fucking suppressed my social media for 7 years. I don't know. No normal person would have survived this. I don't know how you guys, so forever, whatever little mood swings you think, I am a fucking saint for how I have handled this. And I don't believe there's another fucking human being alive that would have handled this as fucking professionally as well as me, quite frankly. I don't. 7 years of literally trying to destroy me, putting out fake things and all the BS articles. You think it's just, I don't care about anything there upset if they can't make anything right. And public apologies, like there's a lot that needs, this isn't some delusional out of touch. Like this is, if you want, I fucking just state the facts that have happened. That I have lived through and that I know. So it's like, just go on. I could tell you guys, if I could never wrestle again, I have no problem. If I have to I can't get this fixed, I will just go live a normal life and be happy. I can disappear like that and just be fucking happy with that. I will have no problems on this, but I'm going to do what I want and what I've worked for and sacrificed and I'm going to win. And there's going to be options. I promise you, there's options. There are options. Get the trademark, get cleared from my shoulder. We move forward. I will. The moment and the opportunities are going to come, and I'm going to get my social media fixed, and I'm going to be on much bigger platforms to be able to talk about this. I'm going to do them so much more harm than they're going to be ready for with this. And I've saved some aces in my back pocket for that with this. So it's you guys, it's not like, oh, I want to go back. No, it's not even an option. Hunter and them, they blew it with that because they're afraid to talk because they just hoping everyone's going to be a little fucking scared mark and put them on a pedestal and go, I'll do anything just to work for you guys again. I can give I'll go fucking broke. I ain't fucking doing it until you make those situations right. And the things what you've done in public apologies, all the BS lies. No, we can't do business together. So not happening, buddy. Not happening with that. And they know they know exactly what the things are that they need to do on that. So, but I wish I'm not like with Punk and like with guys there that couldn't get along with other guys when they left. Like love all the guys, the men and women I got to work with there and want them all to be as successful as possible. Hope they're all as happy as possible with that, but this is it's too personal on that. So I know a lot of you guys, I literally use them for my content while they're suppressing me on that. I will use them every chance I get on that. So They've done so much wrong. They've tried to cut off my revenue every which way. Like, I don't think you guys understand. Like, a lot of you like think like the Vince's mom things. Just for a fucking just have some common sense. Put yourself in my shoes of what's going on. I explained all that very well too, with what was going on and them delaying things on the trademark even further, making me spend more money, like just to be petty with that. So like you just like I said, 7 years, and in the lies and the so, and you with them, and I've told you guys, you can't let them walk all over you. You've got to fight back, and you've got to literally, they spit on you, you spit on them, and you slap them in the face, and then you punch them in the face, and then you stab them in the back. Like, you don't let them. You don't know. You don't. I've just seen them do it to too many people. I've never just. I shut that shit down. I don't care. So, because I know the truth at the end of the day with everything, and I'll never let the people that choose to believe the lies. I literally know the truth, and I don't let myself get distanced from that with people that read the BS and the lies and try to rechange everything and try to tell a different story. It's like, that's why I block and move on. I'm like, no, I'm not even. All right, sweep you away under the rug. You're trash. Keep going. Hello. I get the Ryback trademark any day. It's any day. It's supposed to come before June. It was going to be delivered. It will go to my attorney, and the documents will be forwarded to me. I'm sure he'll send me a congratulations. And it's been 7 years in this, but I'm waiting. We're mid May here, so it's like 14 days left, 15 days left, right? So it should be in a matter of hopefully a couple weeks that I have that, but there's still going to be some shoulder stuff going on after this. And we're going aggressive right now with everything. And there's some things. Somebody reached out the prior week, and I just kind of updated where everything was at. And, but there's going to be stuff. So, like I said, there's multiple options on things, and just be as ready as possible. But trademark, shoulder cleared, figure out the direction we're going to go, and then it's just that simple. So, yeah, Kylie. Yep, you lost a lot of money because of them. They need to give you $1 billion to make amends. And that's why I said there's not people are gonna. If anyone's familiar with how this has all gone, and like this isn't like anything new that I've been bringing up, and people have seen all the social media BS in the games, and like I just know because I've lived it, and I know with the marketing when my name gets removed off marketing, and all these weird things happen, and nobody can give answers, and it's a perception thing, it's a financial thing, and again, they're really big on the perception that they want to control that as much as possible. But the problem is it's been good for me, like the TikTok. And look how bad my TikTok now is. And they've got something going on with that. And TikTok hasn't paid me since October. They admitted they were wrong from even kicking me off the creator fund, suspending me. Then they say, oh no. We just decided, even though I have the image of them saying they made a mistake on it, and then it was no, we just reinstated it early for you. I go, no, right, it's right here. It says you made a mistake. Oh, AI message incoming. But not paid from TikTok since that for no reason. Haven't done anything on it, and in my views, still Rock Cena's only passed me because they've limited. Cena wasn't passing me if none of this has been going on the last couple of years on TikTok. Not saying at some point he could not have, but I was growing so fast on that. They've taken that, and like I lose followers now. I have girls that I know here in Vegas that I'm friends with who get unfollowed from me, who message me and then follow me back, and then they get a warning on their thing, and happens on IG and TikTok with it. And it's just like, what do you do? This is why I tell you, like, I just tell you guys about what I'm actually experiencing and going through on a daily basis on this. And it's meant to mentally and physically destroy you. And they have no, like, if I would have lost everything and my health I paid to get, they just fucked with the wrong one because I've always been protected, which is why I'm being put through this, because I'm the one that can do it. And it's going to be amazing.
I already know it's been the story of my life, and I've overcome things so many times. So it's just like, well, another thing, we'll do it. But they like could have killed myself, could have lost everything, my family. Like they don't care with this. So it's like now that I've got my health back or that, like you guys, somebody go, oh, will you go back if you win the champ? Like I can give two fucks about their championships, guys, and that's just being honest. And even if everything was right, I still wouldn't give two shits. Like it'd be cool, everything, but it'd just be a good person, work hard. But it's a prop at the end of the day, like anything else. Yeah, there's stories and meanings behind everything with all of that. But like I know I have a bigger understanding of life than just the entertainment aspect with that. So it is what it is. No, I did not know the man eating chips video is a meme. Can you further elaborate on that? How was the process behind your WWE theme song? It was Hunter saying, "Hey, Ryback, come out by the ring. I want you to listen to something." Me coming over, putting on headphones, and the music playing first in the headphones. What do you think about it? And I go, "Oh, that's badass." And then they played it on the big. Everyone heard it, and it was just like, "Oh yeah, that was the process." I had nothing outside of I recorded the Feed Me Mores with that, but that was after the music was created. The original theme was somebody went into Vince. Trent Beretta was in there, who I just talked to the other day again. Coincidentally, we were talking about saunas and cold tubs. And Trent came out to me and he goes, "Oh man, your theme song is pretty badass. They picked a good one." And like that's something you worry about like early on when you're getting ready to debut. And I go, "Oh, like I didn't even I heard my music for the first time when I came out to it on that first one, from what I recall." And then the when they beefed it up, Hunter called me over to the ring and he goes, "Oh, we beefed this up for you," which I was always thankful for. And it was, but that was the process behind it. All of that, like had nothing to do with the meat on the table. That's from me. I used to like the way I always ate food and people with steak and chicken uh and so it's literally something like that. Like it just in my personality, like they've got a good feel for some of that stuff with how they do that. Like, and that it's just like I heard that song, I go, man, they did a really good job on that. They did a really, really good job. That Jim Johnston, man. Jim Johnston. I always say it both ways. I never know how to pronounce it. First thing I've met him before too. Jim, is it Johnston or John Stone? Both? Okay. Because I just go both every time. You can't say I got it wrong when I got it right half the time. You just got to say them both every time. But yeah, that was the process behind it. Congratulations, man, on losing all that weight, Chase. That is a tremendous weight loss of 410 to 204 pounds. Congratulations. That is, man, I love hearing that. That makes me as happy as anything because I just know that's such a lifestyle and mindset change and that probably seemed impossible at the high end of that and now is a reality with 200 plus pounds later. Water says, what is your memory of learning about the SummerSlam 2010 finish? Barrett said in a shoot you guys thought you were going over, but somehow Vince had it changed a few hours before the event. Well, that was because I believe, I just remember when we were told it, I remember we all stood around with each other, like in disbelief. It was, we were of the understanding that we were going over. But that's the deep waters of the WWE. You've got, and I'll tell you too, and when you take yourself out of it, Cena's young in his career still there. He'd achieved things, but you never know when. And John knew the group of us, and John, with me, and I was in that group. If you put over a group of guys, even though you're probably going to go over on them individually, that was what I think that consensus was eventually that this angle that he's going to pick us apart and he's going to get victories over us, right? And I think they started telling that story. But we're going to find ways as a unit to get our heat and right. But everybody's getting over. We're all new guys. But he went and supposedly and Jericho and Edge had mentioned it, and I don't know exactly what was said, but you got the finish changed to John going over on it, and I know Jericho and Edge had mentioned that wasn't the right move, but from John's perspective and point of view, and there's new guys coming up. It's a tough business, and to get that top spot, right? And then you've got your merchandise, and this stuff is coming in, and there's no doubt there's greed coming into that, and because the thing is if you put us over, Vince, and you guys already know this was before my ankle stuff. Vince really liked me from everything, and this was before all the conflict, and I think really high. It was right before the ankle injury. I think me and Otunga were scheduled to win the tag titles and again, anything could have changed the day of the event. We had a week to get there, a week and a half against the Hart Dynasty, but me and Otunga, that's why we started tagging. Where they were going to put the tag titles on us, but Vince, I was going to start getting things early on, and that was, Cena is not stupid. Cena knows when he sees guys, and at the end of the day, he's human, but at the end of the day, it comes from an insecurity and being scared or of losing what you have. And not saying he's scared or like he's insecure, but that's where it's rooted, that those behaviors are rooted in that. Whereas if he would have put us over with that, then there's a chance Vince starts getting really high on a few of us. What does that mean for him down in the next upcoming years, right? And so I understand why John, when he could flex his power, would. Not saying he did all the time, but I think he certainly has over the years. And again, I think if you put any of us in that position, I think there's a way to get really over it. And the guys that don't have that instinct maybe as much, maybe don't get as over, but maybe they're viewed a little better. So it's like it's a really it's a tough thing, but I don't think it. I thought he, again, and it's easy. It's us saying it. Like, we're going to put us over at that, and he beats all of us individually, and things. The story keeps getting told further and further and further. I think would have been much better overall. I don't think anyone would disagree with that. But I try to, I can look at it from a little bit different point of view, being away from it and seeing and understanding, and because it's not John's fault. That's the way that Vince has created that environment. And so it puts you in these difficult positions where you have to sometimes say something or you don't say something, but then it's like guys that get used, and to put other people over. You want to do good, you want to help the company, but at the same time, you don't want your stock to fall too much, because what happens if your stock falls too much? Well, they pay you less. You don't get as many opportunities. They don't treat you as good. So there's incentives to not want that to happen. Like in that behavior, and that's where it's where that culture and that environment is not healthy in a lot of ways. And that's where contracts and getting physical acting roles in the right role that's the key. This is where I've learned why I'm the way that I am. You have to have that in writing so that you don't get caught up in the bullshit. It's the only way for it to exist, to do it the right way with that. And I can't control what anyone else does, but I can control what I do with that. You don't need to go sign 5-year contracts. No, fuck. Okay, you can, but if you want to map the whole thing out, even better with that. But I think short-term contracts, knowing the exact role that you're playing and it's in writing, I think that's the way it all should be. It's physical acting. It's not real. It should have always been that way. And I think it's going to evolve to this. Trust me, at some point. It has to with it. So, or at least for some people, it will. Bobby says, I moved to the TRT injections this week, and you requested your lab work for 24 to 48 hours, like we talked about prior, I remember, in the day before the next injection. And doctor is pushing back, saying, I need to wait 3 months. Any suggestions? Yeah, I would just, there's nothing wrong with waiting for 3 months. I think that's a long, I think you could do that after a month and get the lab work. I think you could do it pretty quickly. I think they want, for what maybe that they just want, that's going to show the, I just think that 3 months that's going to be achieved in a month. I think you're just, because every time, like when you do that, you're like, your body recognizes it, and like, because you always have a little bit of testosterone left over from it, like, and then the week there's like something. He's just probably just making sure everything's is like is what's the word I'm looking for, that you're in your routine, and the levels are saturated. Is that the word I'm looking for? I don't like there's I don't think you need to wait 3 months, but I don't, as long as your doctor's willing to do it, I think that's fine. Just wait the 3 months. The only thing is, if you don't feel good and you like that, that's the only other thing. But this is kind of, you got to look at it like, you know what, you're on it, you're going to feel better than you did without it. You're going to be close regardless. And just just wait the 3 months, and then when you get tested, if for whatever reason they need to bump it, you're going to get that right pretty quickly. And it's not going to be an issue ever again. So it's kind of just a one-time figuring it out thing of like, you know, on that one to try to get your dosage is, and then you periodically over the years you do one test, that, you know, one test 48 hours, and then you do the test later in the year, you do it the last day. Sometimes doctors will just want you to take it in the middle of the week, just so you get a nice consistent number on the lab work with that. Because a lot of doctors too, like if you do come back high and the doctor is credible with that, he will go, look, we got to lower this dosage. I can't have the lab work showing you're coming back, you know, 200 points or 300 points over the high normal range. And, you know, and I didn't alter the dosage. So we got to pull that back, where a lot of doctors just like, they're just not invested enough, and they just look, and they're not listening to you. Or, you know, if you're coming back at 450 and you need to be coming back at 650 or 7, and you don't feel well still, they, you know, it's a very, you got to just be very in tune with your body and see. It's like, if you feel great and everything's going good at the dosage that they give you, man, and everything, just, that's the main thing, that you feel good and your body and your metabolism is firing. And I love Wade Barrett on commentary. I'm ignoring you because I haven't seen one of your questions, pal. We talk about the Bray Wyatt. He's on literally yesterday's show. Or is he on? No, he's on the image for today's show. But we talked about Bray yesterday on the Ryback show on that. And that could be a multitude of things. I'm sure it's just because whatever's going on, and I'm not sure what's going on. And I hope everything is okay and going to be okay and going to be great. Is that he, I explained it yesterday. They take people off those sheets if they're not going to be around, or there's something, if they're planning something down the road, or they want to keep it quiet, or if there's a condition and they just don't, they're not available. So they don't even want them on the sheet, and they don't know, and they don't know when they're going to be available. And then oftentimes, like if people are going to be out for like extended periods of time, they'll take them off those sheets, just so then as they're getting ready to come back, they go back on those sheets. And so that could be something that he might not be back for a while, or they're just not sure when he's going to be back. But I think it's we just got a lot of this stuff comes out, and people look into things more than they should sometimes. Sometimes it's warranted, sometimes it's not. At the end of the day, it's we're not going to know until, you know, something ultimately happens. Like, it's just speculate, like, unless he resigns or walks away or makes a statement, or WWE releases him. You know, he's there, he's under contract, sure, he's being paid his downside, and they could just tack that time right back on, so they haven't lost anything with that. as far as, and I'm hoping for Bo Dallas's sake and in the Uncle Howdy, I really want to see him get a really good opportunity up there and make some really good money, because Bo is a good dude, and he never, I loved the Bo Dallas. I've wrestled him a lot. I was a big fan of the Bo Dallas gimmick because it showed his personality. The Bo Leave. And he's a tough. I told you guys, he's one of the tougher guys. Like I've told you guys, like, if I was gonna be in a trios fight, and I needed like a legit trios fight, like I needed two other guys, I would be more than thrilled having Bray and Bo Dallas on my side. I would be very confident in our chances of survival having those two on my side. They're tough guys, man, and in a time where maybe not everybody is. Good to see all of you. We're going to throw a shell shock here. That's the guy's name. I can't even say his name. Can't even spell his name properly. Just typing nonsense. Yeah, we got rid of him. Don't worry, guys. Walking Dead spinoff with Bray, Ryback, and Bo. Somebody says, yeah, I'm a big Bray guy, but I can see from their perspective how it would be hard to book him. Well, how can you say from their perspective, you could see how, elaborate further on how you could see how would it be so difficult to book Bray? Because did you read something and now you're thinking that that's true because you read it? Some of you, this is where I tell you guys, some of you too, like would think like with people, this is what people have to deal with. So if you're invested and you care about your character, because there's a lot of times where there's people up there, nobody's caring about anything and they're just trying to get through the day. You can literally get destroyed in a day if you're not careful and you don't know when to speak up and or to point things out. And but you got a guy that cares about his character, who's clearly put people over before, but who's been there for a good amount of time and been in the system and grew up in the business and with that. And you have a guy that puts a lot of effort and creativity into his stuff. And oftentimes that's not being difficult or not being, Bray, I've worked with Bray multiple points. Never once did I ever see any inkling of Bray being difficult. One bit, not one. So I'm laughing and joking, having a good time putting the match together, joking around every time we see each other. Yeah, people can change and circumstances can change, and I haven't been there for a long time, but like he was like that from day one when I knew him. And I could just send him a text. I send him a text. I get a text back. Sometimes just send him a funny horse eating corn. There was a thing in FCW where the guys, they'd go to Dr. Tom, where they'd grab the back of your leg really hard, like a horse. They go, horse eating corn, try to scare people. So like just every once in a while. And like, he's, but he's a good dude, man. I just hope I know when I see lies put out, because I've lived through and I've had to deal with it myself. So I could just see when things get put out. I go, what is odd thing? There's so much BS manipulation and just odd things to get people, it's just like the story I told you guys with the Brock Lesnar thing when I was in WWE. If you just type my name Ryback, this is still one of the top stories that pull up. You tell me how that's a top story that pulls up that was fake, that was debunked by whoever, and not that they said that there's literally a detailed report of Brock Lesnar and me getting into a fight backstage, who me and Brock have always gotten along great. I told you guys, he always used my workout bands. Anytime we had a conversation, it was pleasant. Never once anything remotely that could be confused as a fight. But there's a detailed report that when you just type my name Ryback, that will come up very close to the top on how Brock Lesnar and Mr. Feed Me More, as they have, and however this is showing up, that he punched me in the face 3 times backstage. This was, I was oblivious to this, that this had happened. It was after Donnie Marlowe gave me a shot on pay-per-view when I fought him and Hunico, I believe. And Donnie, it was the first time I was getting taken off my feet, and he just caught me with a forearm in my eye, which, by the way, I told him to hit me because it was like we wanted it to look good with that. I literally got my entire eye busted open, bloodshot, right? But it's on that. I'm literally giving you the pay-per-view that it happened with me versus Hunico and Donnie Marlowe. I think he was Was he Donnie Marlowe in that, or did he have another Hunico and he have another name? I can't remember. Camacho. I'm sorry, Hunico and Camacho. And somehow somebody put that out there. Now you tell me, how does that even? Now what would be the point of that? Oh, I was red hot, getting built up. Would the point of that be to try to take away credibility from me to the WWE hardcore fans and people that read? Probably. Did it work? No. But somebody, like, how does that even get out? That never even, there was nothing. That just complete fake story with this. And then you just question. I've seen things on other people that I know the situation of what's going on, and I see what gets put out there. And it's usually they feed it out to somebody that will feed it to their main dirt sheet people. And then those main dirt sheet people will put it out there. And then everybody else it trickles down from. Everybody else responds to it on that. And it's just a nasty thing. Like, and I just know when I see it on different people, and I just go, that's the game. They're getting worked. Yeah, everyone just writes nonsense to act like they have insiders. Yeah, it's silly. It's beyond silly. But the WWE always has done this. They control the narrative on a lot of things, and they will always. It's like I told you guys when they have, if you type in my name, it still has that I was WWE released me. It's just a completely made up thing. You can't release somebody that walked out, didn't sign the multi-million-dollar contract, and got paid all the way till his contract expired on August 8th, I believe, of 2016. How was I released? The contract, I literally released them and told them I wasn't coming back. But they wanted control so that when people Google or look what happened to Ryback, that they see these negative things. And then it's so fucking stupid. It's so petty and childish, and that's why I was like, there's zero tolerance for it. I'm like, if you're dumb enough to believe that, and you fall, like, good luck, goodbye. Why do the majority of guys exaggerate their heights? Like, I get most want to be larger than life, but why fabricate? Do the boots typically add a few inches? The boots don't. Well, you don't. The boots add height. So, like, we always, I think, build me as 6'3". I'm 6'2", barefoot. In my boots, I'm over 6'3", 6'3.5", probably with the boots. But everyone has different soles. I found a really good length on my soles that don't hurt my performance, where I'm able to move in where they're not. If you get them too thick, then you can get wobbly. So it's usually an inch is about, but you can also have like a good insole in there with a little cushion, and you might get a little quarter of an inch or something on that as well. But the boots, and that's all. Kane, some of those guys had some big boots at different times. Mine, I've had good size on there, but I got them. I found the length that inch is usually the safe, the sweet spot on that. And but other than that, in this day and age, there's no point in lying. It's just so many things with pictures with people, and I think that was something that was more common earlier in back in the day, because there wasn't the internet and all this stuff where you could track and right. It was just more, people weren't communicating with each other. Even if a picture got out and was posted in a magazine, so few people see that, and nobody can talk about it with each other outside of little water cooler bar talk, right? So it's like, whereas now the world can interact with each other. And so, but yeah, I think everybody, you just want to come off maybe bigger. I don't understand why you're not I've never had a problem with everything being spot on. I always thought they had my stuff with always. I would adjust my weight when my weight would fluctuate at different times. I would just go tell the person, I'm 287, or like if I was down, it was leaning up a little bit, or I'm 293 this week, or whatever. Like, and so that stuff was pretty accurate with all of that. No, I know. So it's tough to. No, I just feel it would be tough to book him in feuds that would make sense and benefit both parties. Maybe I'm wrong. You'd have more knowledge than me, but as an outsider, it's just what I can see. Well, again, though, too, and I know what you're saying, and he is a strong character, and I think part of it, and he was the Fiend, and that was such a strong character with it. And typically, though, when you return, it's this is why it could be when you have a strong character, you can't just be on. You can't just. It could be more difficult to book you with. You got to be booked with the right people, but where story is important on that. And maybe, but we never really got to see that on this. He just had the one match with LA Knight, right? And a lot of it's been built up since then. So, this is one of the things where it's difficult too, and wrestling is stressful. Being there every week when you sign those 3-5 year contracts, or really long ones, whatever, or any a variation of that, it's usually 3 or 5. You kind of can, and you don't know what your role is going to be. This is where I've just said I've learned what I've learned, and you could beat your head against a wall, but this is where you have to be careful, because if you start, like I said, if you don't get booked properly, and you start accumulating losses, and Bray's done this before, you start sliding on how they view you, and then your money starts going down. This is why the way the whole thing is set up. This is why the behavior happens the way it happens with the talents, and they're not acting in irrational or crazy ways. It's because of the environment and them knowing what's going on with it, and I've lived it and experienced it. So. I see what you're saying. You're just talking about the character. Yeah, but I've seen things where they put it where it makes him like he's difficult, and he's not. He's not. But it's, and Bray's put me over. We worked for weeks before he went over on the pay-per-view. I weeks of shell shocking Bray. Never once. But and there was a little story there, and that was when he had fallen a little bit too, and he needed to get back on track, and he needed a big win. And we just, like, you understand, and but like, you come up with people, you work well with people, but it can be difficult with that, like, because if you got to have a motive with that kind of character. It's like, what is the motive? What is he? You know, it's just difficult. It's a difficult thing. You're dealing with. There's only so many spots and so many people and so many things, and he's already been proven to be a big money maker. Oh yeah, no caffeine Ryback, low caffeine Ryback, due for that other wake up unlimited energy this afternoon. But it's we're just there every week. It's difficult with that, because things will come up, and it's not always in the best interest of you, because they just got to put on a TV show. And that's why it's good to treat it just like a job that you show up to every week. But you also, though, you want more, and you care. So it puts people in tough positions sometimes. Yes, when you sign your contracts, you pay for rental cars and hotels. You could stay wherever you want. You could choose to drive at night. You could choose to sleep and drive in the morning to the next town, for the most part, outside of when there's charter flights, which rare occasion. And then the flights, they pay for the flights in and out, but you're responsible for all your food, any expenses. You got all your ring gear, everything. Unless they want something specific, they may pay for something if it's a prop type thing, or if it's a Vince idea. they may pay for the initial thing, but like usually, I mean, all that stuff is up to the talent. Hotels, like TV hotels, if you do media, like whenever I would do media, they would pay for the hotel. They would actually have a car drive you if you wanted. I always just drove myself because I had my car for the week, and so I just would drive my car. And I'm like, they do that so you could, if you want to sleep on the road. I would never be able to sleep for the most part driving, especially. And then I would drink the caffeine and just stay awake and drive in. There was times I'd go to, I'm not even kidding you, I'd go do media for Raw and SmackDown. And I'll remember one of them, I think, was Laredo, Texas. And honestly, this might have been the Ricky Starks one where I bullied Ricky Starks in Laredo, Texas. This actually, I probably was, because I was doing a lot of media at this point. And I got 45 minutes of sleep. And when I say 45 minutes, I've got literally, I think 45. Whatever time I had to, I got in and I got my bags unpacked. I got everything ready, and got in really late. It was a long drive. I had all the alarms and the wake up call and I got to bed at like 4 and had to get up at 4:45, something like ridiculous like that. Literally slept for 45 minutes and went and did media all morning on that, and then had to go to the show. And I think, though, on that particular one, I was so fucking dead. They let me sleep. I think I got like an hour at the hotel. They gave me like an hour or an hour and a half later to get to the building after media. And because I was involved, I was I think me and Cena were in the main that night. And then I had the pre-tape with Ricky, which that took a bit of time to get that all organized. And it's crazy, but they do offer like the car on that, but it would have been more of a hassle not to have my car and then try to get it the next. And like, just keep it all simple. But they would usually get like TV hotels. They pay for your hotel if you're doing media or something, right? And on that. But outside of that, expenses are a lot. You guys have no idea. Especially, I can't even imagine what expenses would be now on the road with everything going up the way that it has. But and you're eating out, you got a tip eating out wherever you eat. Like if you go get a meal, you're eating several times a day. So you got to make sure I'd eat my calories in a certain amount before I'd get to the, on live events and things. And I'd have like I'd have my supplements, and just, you're eating out multiple times a day though with that, no matter what. Now, in the building, and you have stuff there, but just whatever beverages you get, drinks like waters and things on the road, like all just constantly. Airports, you could spend a fortune, because I would routinely have to buy food at the airport because, and I say there could have been alternatives of like, I could have maybe cut out like a morning airport meal but then it would have been like having to have the food at home, and food can go bad so you'd always try to buy stuff to have for when you're home, the day and a half or 2 days. So much better just being able to have a consistent eating schedule. Like, it's so much easier now. But I would like always get like a big meal at the airport before the flight, because I'd sleep 2 hours, fly out, I'd get to the airport, get in, get my meal. I'd get on the plane, eat my meal, pass out for 3-4 hours, 2.5 hours, however long I would get to sleep. Luckily, there wasn't a connection. If there was, I'd get broken up sleep. I'd literally eat, pass out, get in, go get the rental car, find a gym, work out, go straight to the show. Or get food, go straight to the show. And then you're paying for that food there. The show would have some like peanut butter and some snacks. Most stuff that we're not eating regularly. I would occasionally go get the rice cakes. Big guy was known to go over and get a couple caramel rice cakes and put a little smooth peanut butter on them after a good match, expending a lot of energy. External says, feed me roids. Thank you very much. Welcome to the Ryback Show. I just look better than you because I'm better than you, buddy. That's it. Yeah, there's a lot. Well, that's because they too many of the guys, they've got that system set up very conveniently for themselves. I'm telling you guys, and I would love for this to be, I would love for WWE to have to post what each individual brand brings them in and what they pay them. I think you guys would be, it would, if that ever gets leaked out or comes out with how much the individual talents are making and how few, how little money the talent are actually making in relation to what they are making the brand individually. And they have those numbers. They do. It is, it will be, it's nowhere near any of the other sports or entertainment. It is bad. And you will see. And that's just the truth. It's not being bitter, not being, it's just that is what they have set up with that. So Sweet Sugar, good to see you, buddy. Yeah, you just grab what you can. But you usually got your set things. I always had a pretty good routine of finding burgers and chicken and eating like low carbs and eating the good carbs at the catering or when I was able to find good carbs and trying to keep my foods as good as choices as good as possible. But there are times it is there are times you just got to try to, you might just have to get a sandwich and like it because you might not be eating for like a good period of time and you're like, well, I need something, and you just don't want just protein. It's just all there's so many variables that go into it, but it's I can tell you one thing: airport prices are always ridiculous, always. And I remember one time I was this one really. Oh, this one was upsetting. We were at in an international. We were coming back from a UK tour, or one of the big tours, and we had to go through one of the airports, and where we had to go through once we had to get in, we had to go through one security. We had to go through the customs essentially and then we wouldn't have to go through it when we got back into the States. But they didn't tell anybody, and they didn't have I don't know. We were all starving, and I was starving. I went and got a bunch of food because it was a long flight back still with that and drinks. And I remember they wouldn't let anything go through. Not like the drinks are one thing with the liquid on that when you need to understand it, but they wouldn't let the food. And I remember it was like I just ate some of it and threw the rest out. It killed me. I threw out so much food, and I was so excited I was going to get to eat on the plane. And there's just situations like that. Certain things happen you can't control, and it's you know it's just it's a difficult thing that a lot of people might not fully understand, just on top of doing everything that you have to do to go be at the top of your profession. Good to see all of you. Welcome to the Ryback Show. That yawn was for the guy that I just shell shocked. Thank you for the kind words. Love your show, Ryback. Keep up the good work. Trying out some of your protein products soon. Love when you speak on tech suppression. I agree. Many channels are being suppressed for made up reasons, to be honest. Yeah, it's happening. I'm sure to a lot of other people in various ways, because I know for a fact that I know what's going on with me. And so if it's going on with me, I would love to know if anyone else is being suppressed across the board like I have, though. And I don't wish this on anyone, on anything. I just think everyone can see it. It's beyond, how do you grow a following from nothing and on these a lot like YouTube? I did this all on my own post WWE and get millions of views and hundreds of thousands of views, and all of a sudden overnight that formula stopped, and now have 430, almost 431,000 subscribers, and my numbers are lowest they've ever been. People tell me they don't get notifications all the time. Videos aren't getting distributed. But these are the videos that people subscribe for with it. And you just don't all of a sudden, like, it's but it's been done in stages as well. And then when they figured out, like, I was still finding ways to make good revenue, they then dropped my RPM to nothing, so that no matter what. So just so you guys know, it doesn't matter even how good my videos do. I'm hardly YouTube, like, they've dropped my RPM, rate per mile, what you make per like 1,000 views. They have it like it was like almost under $1. It was like low dollar something. That usually like 3 to 5 is what most people are in on that, and what it used to be. So like when that's going on, and then like TikTok hasn't paid me since last year. This is wild. And it's just like, this is going, like, that's why I do this stuff, because I love it and I have my business, and that benefits me still on that end of things, right? And at least it's better to be seen by some than by none. But it is not a lot of people would have kept going. I'm telling you, because I just have a business mindset and understand it's better to be seen by some than none. But the truth will win at some point. It has to with this. And if not, I hope they're the first ones that I hope the nukes hit all of them. That's all I can hope for at this point. But I think the future is going to be kind to me with everything on the truth and coming out, and everything I've said is going to be confirmed to be 100% accurate on the social media stuff. There's not one shred of doubt on this, because I've lived it and I know. These companies, Elon, Twitter, it is beyond disappointing. You can't get answers on anything. You just try to, none of these, all the communication platforms have no communication with the users. It makes no sense. And most of them are using artificial intelligent bots, the AI bots. You can't even have an option to call anymore. They've taken that away. They've taken that stuff away because they're doing illegal things that they shouldn't be doing. And they're afraid, they don't want people recording them as well, because this is something I dealt with them. They are terrified of being recorded on things, because if they're doing stuff that people could take these people to court, and if you've got the right stuff, you could do some damage. But it's not good. I'm sorry. You have any advice on how to deal with a broken foot? Matt, you've just got to stay off of it. Crutches, wear the boot, don't do anything to injure it. Stay active. I always, with my ankle, after I had my ankle injury, I was on crutches, and I would go to the grocery store. We didn't even have Instacart or any of this stuff. That would have been, oh man, I would have been in heaven if they had that for that. I used to literally crutch myself to my car, drive myself to the grocery store, get in one of the motorized vehicles, load my thing up with food. I'd carry all my bags in with my crutches for months and months and months, because I was on those things for like over half a year with my foot, with how bad it was, and all the nerve damage, and trying to figure out what was going on. And I just kept myself busy. I still worked out. I did upper body stuff. I sat down. I found ways to stay active and do things that kept me mentally happy, so that I could go one day at a time. And that's why it's important to put these little things in your days that make you happy, to go that one day at a time mentality, to keep moving forward. It really pays off. But other than that, I would take a whole food calcium supplement. I believe New Chapter makes a whole food calcium. My bones healed really quickly. I think my bones, everything was healed within like 3 months. There wasn't even a sign that I fractured my tibia all the way up to my knee, and my ankle was broken 3 places. All the fractures were healed. I just had nerve damage. But that whole food calcium is very beneficial. And then I would do stuff like that. If you could put it in an ice bucket, if you got a big enough bucket, something you could dip your foot and ankle in with ice. If you could maybe do that 15 minutes, 10, 12, 15 minutes, 2 or 3 times a day, I really think that could help speed up recovery as well. Super chat. Thank you very much. What's up, Ryback? Hope you're doing great. I am, buddy. Thank you. Welcome to the Ryback Show. Somebody told you airline food is bad. Yeah, I don't think it's the highest quality food in the world. It's coming from freaking airplane, man. Like, do you think they've got like a gourmet chef in there, like just right there by the pilots, just cooking everything up? My man Steve got that 16-ounce prime rib coming out for Steve with some asparagus and some mushrooms, a little bit of cilantro on the dish, make it look all pretty for him. No, you're eating shit airplane food. The first class, they try to dress it up, give you a hard ass little roll with a little stick of butter, and then they pour ice in your drink, and you think and give you a little glass, and you think you're fucking special. You're not. You're gonna be the first ones that die. That's what you are if that thing goes south quick. But yeah, I didn't eat the airplane food hardly ever. There might have been a few times I got a sandwich when I couldn't, like I'm pretty sure that trip I got my food thrown out, I had to get something, whatever they had on that. 777 Gaming says, "Yo, man, I found your channel via the video where you were eating those ruffles. You are really a great man, and I really look up to you. Keep up the good stuff." Thank you very much. I hope that's from watching the other videos. I don't know. That's very, if the Ruffles video gave you that impression of me, that's outstanding, because I didn't say a damn word in that video. But I'm taking you've watched other videos on the channel, and I thank you very much. That chip video, though, is that people really, really obsess over that chip video. Steve, yeah. You never know what name I'm going to drop when I go to cut a little promo. Yo, big man, what's your opinion on noodles? And if I'm lifting, should I eat them or not? I mean, there's better choices out there. I understand noodles. I love noodles. I think, who doesn't love noodles? Whether you're getting it like in chow mein or just eating top ramen, something that the stuff tastes good, right? It's processed food, though. Be better off doing black rice, combination of black and white or black and brown or any of the three. Better off, different beans. There's better carb choices. But I understand if you want to, if you do want to keep them in your diet, I wouldn't do it every day, or I would definitely, if you're doing higher carbs and like trying to bulk, I would just limit the amount that you're doing on that kind of stuff. I mean, the noodles are great with that stuff, but if there's much better foods with better micronutrients in them that will, like black rice. You're going to be hard pressed to find a better carb than black rice with all the antioxidants and the nutrients it has in it. But it also, though, you want to be able to, things that you got to have a little variety in your diet. And I understand that. Thank you very much. Yeah, the bully videos were probably the most fun that I had. Those, I told I would bring the bully character back for a run. I really enjoyed the bully Ryback character. It's so ridiculous. It's fun. That being like that kind of character, you could literally, if that, you can get so over with that, with the things you can get away saying and just being, I loved that role. Even though like some people were really offended by it, I thought it was fucking hysterical. What about brown rice? No, black rice, man. Black rice. Black rice matters. Not brown rice, not white rice. Black rice. Fuck. That was my impression of what was the guy with the movie with 6 minute abs and with Ben Stiller? Oh, there's something about Mary where he picks up the hitchhiker, and Ben Stiller goes, the guy's telling him about like his video 6 minute abs or 7 minute abs, or Ben like goes, what if somebody comes out with 6 minutes, and then he cuts the promo on him. But black rice matters, is where, that's at the end of the day, that's all we got to know. Black rice matters. I'm looking. I saw a video with Mr. Beast. There was a wrestler in OVW named Man Beast. Great guy. But Mr. Beast did a food video. It was an egg sandwich. They made an egg salad sandwich, and then had like the boiled eggs in the sandwich, but they were a little runny. It looked really good. That guy gets a lot of views, man. Makes a lot of money. Need to do a video with Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast could probably get me my social media fixed. I feel like that guy has all the connections to the social media because he's so big for them. It makes him so much money. I need to become friends with Mr. Beast. This is going to be, I've just got to find a solution to the social media. I need to find it in. I would say Mr. Beast has better connections than Vince. That Mr. Beast is making them so much more money on his brand that Mr. Beast is going to be the key in all of this. We've got to become friends with Mr. Beast. Black rice is good. It's not quite as soft as the texture is a little. It's not like white and brown. It's just a little firmer, even though you can still get it soft, but it's just not quite the same. But it is very good still. It's way more nutritious. That's why doing a combination like with the dogs, I cook a big thing of white rice and I put a package of black with it and mix it all together. And then I do my servings of rice on my carb day with that black rice in there. And I get a good amount of black rice for the day so that I'm having my black rice for the week still. And I just have it on my carb day with that. Good to see all of you. Knock, knock, knock. Shell shock. Hello. Ryback, what would I do if I was president? I would have to probably address all the lies being put out every day by whatever party that I ran for. And then the other side just making up lies or people making up lies. And, I just don't understand any of it's for the most part, outside of what's going on with this current administration is really bad, but it's that's never happening, buddy. I value my sanity in life and happiness, and I firmly believe that's why, like The Rock, when The Rock cut like that presidential promo during all the COVID stuff, and there were like talks that like maybe The Rock would run at some point in time, and I believe he could win if he did everything that he's more than intelligent enough to get the right people around him. But I just think somebody probably broke it down of like, this is the situation of what's going on. And like it's not a guy that's like pretty much loved by most people. I'm sure he gets hate still, right? I'm sure he gets a lot of hate, but he gets a lot of love. He's a great guy, right? Does cool things, and most successful wrestler probably just overall, just with what they've done in wrestling, and then parlay that into the next phase of life and got even more famous. It's wild. It's amazing. It's just an amazing success story. With that, and that if you go down that field, you're going to be, he would get, the stuff you would see become massively hated by so many people. And it's like, why? Why? It's just like a life of torture and just every day. It's like the Trump. I understand if you look like when he talks and he gets braggadocious at times, he's just doing that to rub it in the face of the pieces of shit and the haters and the people that lie and the different things. And it's just a tactic. And you don't want to necessarily see that all the time in that position with that, but like that's what it's coming from, because he can, and he can get like it's. But you just deal with so much hate and negativity. You can't even imagine. You just got to focus on, they can't even get caught up in anything. You just got to but you're just trying to just live your life and do things. And You've got people always addressing things and wanting things like I don't give a fuck what anyone's doing in their personal life. All I care about is our country is in good hands and the right people are doing things that are in everybody's best interest, right? Overall with that. And I think that's what we all ultimately, I would think we should want, but it doesn't seem like that's happening. I just saw a thing too. My mom was telling me, I gotta actually talk to my dad about it, that they're trying to do away with Social Security for like people like my parents and people that have worked their whole lives. It's wild. I have to look more into that. I was just like, these people are bad. They just everything that I see, like what's going on. I go, but there's so much more to this life and in the world than what we all kind of have been born into, like what we understand. And some people can see that there's more other things going on, and we're at a time of really where things are accelerating really quickly, and we're on the verge of where they want significant change in certain areas, and it's just I don't know. There's just something's not right about everything going on. Evil and capitalism for bad has taken over, and um, it's hurting hurting a lot of good people. Do you regret the Tough Enough segment where you said Big Show come out and play a John, I never said that. I think you're confusing me with somebody else on the show. Maybe pop in that Tough Enough DVD and rewatch that promo segment, because I was not the one that said Big Show come out and play, or however you typed that. Rock alienated a lot of people there. He kind of isn't as over as he was prior to 2020. Well, that's again. Well, he made a post to motivate people that he was trying to get. We needed leadership and somebody that could communicate and speak, and he was trying to and whatever. But as soon as you do something like that, and whoever it can divide that, whatever side people think that you're on that, then the other side instantly hates you, right? Which is that's not, to me, that's not a healthy. That's something to avoid. Well, I'm neither then. I'm not playing that game with that. It's just like, oh, choose a side, and then the other side's gonna fucking hate your gut. What? No, that's stupid. And most people are a combination of things anyways, and it's all just trying to push your personal beliefs on a bunch of other people, and you hang around a bunch of people that have more of the same beliefs as you. So then it's like that's all that the fucking game is. It's stupid. Let's, I think, just focus on the main things of like with life. But yeah, it's not worth my time. Looking at your questions here. Thank you for saying me and Goldberg are two people that are known for physical strength. Trying to do one more question here before we wrap up today's show. Siraj, yeah, you say I always ignore your questions, big guy. Brother, that was the first time I saw you. If you would have typed a question right there, I would have been able to answer it, but you didn't. So I couldn't, because you wasted it on that. And that was the last one. And we're going to go ahead and wrap up today's show. But I thank you guys, everyone, for joining as always. Please check out my Feed Me More Nutrition on feedmemore.com. The premium supplements, guys, and all the Ryback merch and different merchandise we have on there, the Feed Me More accessories and drinkware, et cetera, et cetera. The discount codes for new customers and returning customers are in the description and will be in the comments after as well. This show, all podcast platforms. Check that out. iTunes reviews are greatly appreciated. Let's have a great day. We'll be back tomorrow for another Ryback show, guys. And until next time, my friends, stay hungry. Feed me more.
Feed me more.